everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing my February wrap-up and my currently reading TBR because I have nothing to show you for a wrap-up. I only finished one book in the month of February, and that was The Story of the Stone Volume 5 by Xueqin and Gao Yi. So basically I finally wrapped up The Story of the Stone. This is the final volume that I was missing. I read the first 4 volumes in 2021, and then for some reason I just never got to these final 380 pages that actually finished the Chinese classic, but I finally managed to do that, basically telling me to stop being stupid and to actually finish this classic that I was thoroughly enjoying. But that's it. That's all I have, and I already actually have a video that discusses me finishing this book. It's called I Finished The Story of the Stone. So definitely go check that out if you're interested. But yeah, I mean, I absolutely love this, and I'm so happy that I finally finished it because it really was amazing. But other than that, I have nothing to show because this was just not... Okay, so I was about to say this wasn't really a reading month, but it was, but it wasn't really, like, it wasn't a month of completing books, and like, even though it was a reading month, it wasn't... It's hard to explain. Like, I was, at the same time, it was a month where all I wanted to do was read, but I felt so much guilt about that I ended up not reading at all in a certain way. So it's really weird. February is just not really the best. So let me show you where I'm at with everything. I was expecting to finish this book, 2 Years in the Forbidden City, nonfiction by Princess Ling, where she was a lady-in-waiting to the Empress Dowager Cixi, of whom I read an extremely amazing, super interesting biography last year by Jun Cheng. And this is her personal memoir, and she writes about her experience as being the favorite lady of waiting of the Empress for the 2 years that she was doing this job. And I fully expected to finish this in February, but I just couldn't get myself to sit down and finish the end. I'm at page 168 out of 237. I mean, seriously, I could sit down right now and finish this, but will I? Probably not. It's just that's not where I'm at right now. So there was this. Then I was also reading The Old Ways by Robert Macfarlane. I read the first 68 pages out of 360. This is a nonfiction about Macfarlane, who walks the old walking paths of England, and this was really fun, quite interesting. It's a very different read than previous travelogues that I've read before, but I was definitely feeling inspired by it. I was definitely attracted by this read, but I was using it as a lunchtime read at work, and I realized that wasn't really the best place to be reading this book. So I never really got any further, even though I'd like to. Then I went on a ski trip in the last weekend of February. I had a 4-day weekend, and so I brought Jules Verne with me, Le Phare du bout du monde, which is the lighthouse at the end of the world. And I mean, I brought it knowing very well that I wouldn't have any time to read because I'd be while skiing and then having fun with friends. So I only read 18 pages. And the thing is about Jules Verne is that typically I like to bring Jules Verne book when I'm going to be on a train or when I'm traveling solo, because these are books that when they're like this size, about 200 pages, I can read these in a day, and I'm so happy when I read these, or like over a weekend, like 2 days, maybe 100 pages per day. But it's just to say that I prefer to read Jules Verne in big chunks instead of like little chunks every single day. But yeah, so this was also put on my currently reading TBR, even though it wasn't the best way to do it. So I don't know, it's a little weird, my reading. I'm also more than halfway through Anna Karenina, so Tolstoy's Anna Karenina. I don't have that with me because I am reading that via ebook. But yeah, with that one's been a little bit easier because I have a consistent place to read that book, which definitely helps. But yeah, I'm more than halfway through it. So as you can see, I was reading in February, but I'm just not finishing books. and I'm struggling to find the good moment to actually read these books that are really interesting and I'm really enjoying. So it's really hard, and I'm just like, right now, maybe you can hear it in my voice, I caught my friend's cold over the ski trip. So I'm just, I don't know, I'm a little under the weather, both physically and just like kind of mentally. Wasn't a really good month, so I don't know, we'll see how March feels. March, hopefully I finish those books that I talked about. I feel like if I continue the pace I'm at, I think I could finish Anna Karenina by the end of the month. Otherwise, I'll need like one more week in the month of not the month, but the first, yeah, I feel like I would need like maybe one more week, the first week of April, to finish it. But I'm reading that about one part per week, and I'm on the end of part 5. So this week I should be this following week, this upcoming week, which is the first full-length week of March, I should be starting and reading part 6. So we'll see how that goes. But I feel like I should be able to finish Anna Karenina in the month of March. Also in March, my book club has finally, we're finally going to sit down and read our first read of the month, which is the Tsubaki文具店, which actually has been translated into French. As the stationery store of the Tsubaki stationery store, or the Camellia station store. Tsubaki means chameleon, so it just depends on some countries are actually translating the flower name, and some countries are not. They're leaving as Tsubaki. So but a lot of countries, French and I think Italian and I think even Spanish, have translated this, so check that out if you're able to. But this is the book we are reading in March for the Japanese book club. It's definitely on the longer side. It's 340 pages. We haven't passed the 300 page mark yet in our book club, so this will be a challenge for us for sure. Then something I was hoping to read, because I think it would be really good for me to get some short books out of the way, just to get a sense of that sense of completion. I think that will definitely help me out. But I was really hoping to read the last 2 books in the L'ombre du chardon series by Aki Shimazaki. Aki Shimazaki is a Japanese author, but she lives in Canada and she actually writes in French. These books are actually not in Japanese. These are not French translation books of a Japanese book. These were originally written in French. And I really love the concept of this series. And so I was really hoping to read the end of it. And these are about 100 little short 120 150 page books. Again, like a nice little weekend read for trains if I can get to it. And then I haven't been reading any manga at all. I haven't touched a single manga this year yet. But I would really love to read one of the new Panpanyas that I recently purchased, because Panpanya just brings this sense of joy and innocence and adventure, and like just pure, I don't know, there's just something about Panpanya. It just makes you feel so nostalgic for your own childhood, and it really gives you this sense of just this beautiful innocent sense of pleasure about the world around you, that makes the everyday a lot more peaceful and whatnot. So this is definitely something, you can see how beautiful that art is, just absolutely stunning. I mean, the art is like this on every single page. So yeah, this is definitely something that I would enjoy reading it. So it's a big TBR pile when you consider I read 1 book in February. I think I only read 4 books in January. So I'm not really doing very well. So when you consider the size of this book pile for March, it seems unrealistic. But you never know what happens. Spring is coming. Spring is definitely my season. I like hot weather. The hotter, the better. I love full summer. So the closer we get to heat and warmth and no longer having to wear sweaters, even though I love the sweater, I think it's very adorable. But yeah, it's just, I think I just need to, go forward. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Yeah, that's all I have. It's just one of those months. It's just one of those moments where you just things happen and you can't control it, and you just move on. You just don't dwell. Don't think about how I could have read this, I could have read that, if I had just done this, if I had just done that. It's just, it is what it is. So anyway, these are the books. Hopefully you'll see in my March wrap up. We'll see in the meantime. Well, keep reading. I will keep reading, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.